That was something sweet. That was something sweet. Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse. If you see this huge smile, it's because the New York Knicks are beginning to show the world the team that they can be. This team, this offense, the defense, we'll talk about it. Giving up 125 points to the Toronto Raptors makes me a little bit queasy. But I kind of get it. You know, we had such a big lead, and then OG had this, was taken out of the game, and Thibs kind of took the. But then, of course, he reacted the way he needs to react, puts people back in. But all that aside, you got to give the Raptors, shout them out because they were hitting their buckets as well. But there is just a whole other level of offensive efficiency. This New York Knicks team is playing some of the most beautiful basketball that I have seen since the 70s, since I was a child, when I was first introduced to this game as a child. That is the way this New York Knicks team is playing. It is truly something astounding to watch. The New York Knicks tonight, once again, had another tremendous game in terms of sharing the ball. Another 34 assists for the New York Knicks. 34 assists. Welcome into the Knicks-Verse. My name is George. Thank you for joining me here. If this is your first time here, or you've been here before but haven't subscribed yet, please do so. And if you can, please turn on the notification bell. That way you are alerted when I go live or drop a new video. I would appreciate that tremendously. Also, thumbs up button. Please share the video and drop your comments. I love the comments. I read them all. I try to read them all. I read about 95% of them or whatever. Some of them come in while I'm actually sleeping, and I do miss them at times. But I really try to read them all, and they help me tremendously. Get me a bigger world view, a grander perspective on what is happening with our Knicks, and you guys are my assistants in that. So I really appreciate when you guys drop the comments. All right, so I have highlights for you guys. I'm going to break this game down. It is Christmas Eve. That's right. I don't have my Santa hat on, but I got my Knicks-Verse hat on. Which if you guys don't have one yet, you should order it. Definitely. The link is in the description. Get your gear. Also, look. Right now we're in that phase where we're like, are we wondering, like, we want this team to be great. We want them to be great. But do they have all the ingredients to be great? You know what? I think they do. But one of them is still working out. His name is Mitchell Robinson. If you follow him on Instagram, IG, you'll see his videos where he's working out, lifting, doing leg exercise, all that stuff, which is great. I can't wait to see him out on the court. But who did we finally see out on the court? Landry Shamet on his first attempt. He made the bucket as a New York Knick. Outstanding. He's going to be a tremendous addition to this team. Of course, he only played a few minutes, a minute and a half tonight. That's going to drastically increase. But this was a night where the bench came through in huge ways. Cam Payne came out, and in the first 9 minutes of play, off the bench, he gave us 14 points. The guy was unbelievable. Unbelievable. And Deuce was also a tremendous boost from the bench himself. He finished with 12 points tonight. Cam Payne finished with 19 points. The New York Knicks finished with 7 players in double-digit figures, and 2 of them had 31 points each. One of them was Karl Anthony Towns, which shouldn't surprise anybody. But the other one was OG Anunoby, which should also not surprise you, especially considering the opponent we were playing tonight, which was his former team. It's almost a year to the date. It's 1 week short of a year-ish where the trade happened. And RJ Barrett and Emmanuel quickly went north, and OG came down to the Big Apple. And man, has it changed. It was a good trade for both teams. Unfortunately, Emmanuel quickly just has been suffering some weird injuries this season, hasn't played much, but RJ is having a career year. He definitely delivered for his team tonight. RJ shot almost 54% from the field, got to the free throw line 11 times, connected on 8. He had 6 rebounds and 6 assists and 23 points, and he was only a -1. Only a -1 in his 33 minutes of play. So, I'll tell you, one thing I'll say, once the Raptors are fully healthy, they're going to be a pesky team. They're going to be a tough out, no doubt about that. And one of the reasons will be because RJ, he's now like embraced his role, and the role he's being given is more suited to who he is. I'm happy for him. He will always be a Knick in my heart, always, because he was part of the turnaround, part of taking us out of the dark days, the darkness, that darkness. Fizdale, Phil Jackson, there was so much darkness. Well, we're out of the darkness now. We're into the beautiful phase. This is the time. Do you guys remember about 7 years ago? Was it 6 or 7, when the Nuggets first started showing like, hey, wait, they're a team. Jokic, Murray, when they had Gary Harris on that team, and they were winning games that they shouldn't win. They were surprising teams. They got deep in the playoffs. That's what we feel like right now. And what did they end up doing? They ended up winning a championship. But before they could win a championship, they had to make some tough moves. They traded some players. They got Aaron Gordon. They made some good draft picks, MPJ. And then they finally put it together and won themselves a championship. This team feels like they're on the same track to get there. It just feels like it. Even though the Cavaliers are having an outstanding season, and I believe they won again tonight. Yes, they did. They beat Utah 124-113, but it was close for them. They were actually it was actually a 2-point game deep in that fourth quarter. The Boston Celtics, the other team above the Knicks in the Eastern Conference, they lost tonight to the Orlando Magic, the very pesky Orlando Magic, one of the best defenses I've seen in a while, and they're missing 2 of their best players. So, these are good times for us. These are good times for us, brothers and sisters. Happy holidays to you. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever, or nothing, whatever. If you don't even want to celebrate, whatever, happy days for you, whatever. This is a very happy time for me. Let's get going. New York Knicks hosted the Toronto Raptors at MSG on Christmas Eve. They scored 139 points, gave up 125, but they won by 14. They were once up by 33 points at one time. They lost the fourth quarter by 15 points. That's what happened. They kind of took their foot off the gas. They really, and it's fine. I'm okay with it. And this guy, OG Anunoby, what a tremendous game for him. I tweeted, or whatever you call these things, posted this at some point because I'm on Threads and Blue Sky now. Here's the difference between this year and other recent Knicks years. Jalen Brunson is having one of his worst offensive games as a Knick. This was in the first half. He had not scored a bucket. He didn't score a bucket in the first half. And yet, the Knicks are up 20. If this was any of the last few seasons or even last season, this score would probably be reversed. The Knicks could easily have been down 20 if Brunson wasn't there to carry the load. But now we have other guys, amazing players who can carry the pail for the captain. Right there, Karl Anthony Towns. The man gave us 31 points tonight. Not only just 31 points, 31 points, and only 10 rebounds for him. The guy's been averaging 20 rebounds in the past 2 games. So that isn't only, but he also got 7 assists. He is proving to be one of the best passers in the 5. Okay, I'm going to say this right now. I think he's a better passer than Isaiah Hartenstein. Yep, I think he's a better passer than Hartenstein. Now, does he benefit from drawing more, attention? Does he have more gravity? Yes. Is he, a supernova, that just, inhales everything that's around him? Yes, he is that. But he's also willing to look for a teammate who's cutting. And he doesn't spend an hour trying to decide. He doesn't sit there and like, who should I pass? Dribbling. Who should I pass to? Who should I pass? Oh, can I still be my guy? Can I still be my guy off the dribble? No. All that fucking garbage and bullshit that doesn't amount to winning basketball is gone because of this guy. This guy has changed the franchise. It's not OG that changed the franchise. It's not Mikal Bridges. Well, let's be specific. Jalen Brunson definitely was the first one to change the franchise. But this man is the next guy who comes in and takes what Jalen Brunson has created, elevated to, honestly, the best one of the best offenses I've ever seen. Best offense in the NBA. I think when they're cooking, it's really incredibly difficult to stop them. Just think about it this way. Let's just compare them to Cleveland and Boston. All right, the other two teams. Drew compared to Jalen Brunson. I'll take Brunson any day. I know Drew's a great defender, and he makes clutch buckets and all that jazz, and he's a champion twice. I get it. But he's getting older. Brunson's right in the peak of his life. Look what he did the previous game. We were dead in the water. He comes out, 13 straight points because he can do it. Can Drew do that? I don't think he can. You can't lean on Drew to do that. Okay, so, and then who's the other guy? Darius Garland. Darius Garland is a tremendous offensive player. Absolutely fantastic. I would take Brunson any day of the week over Darius Garland. Any day of the week. It's not even a comparison. Not even a comparison, in my opinion. Especially with his ability to create turnovers on the defensive end. He's weak on the defensive end, but he plays within the team structure. He comes around on the blind side on defenders, on offensive players, pokes balls out. He takes charges. That's what I love about what he's doing. And tonight, he didn't even have it. He didn't have it on the offensive side, but it didn't matter for him. He still ended up with 12 points. He shot only 31% tonight, and the Knicks won, without a problem, without an issue. Now, all right, who else? Okura or Hart? Really? Is that even a real discussion? Okura or Hart? Come on. All right, so who else we got? Jared Allen or OG Anunoby? OG. OG is the plus-minus king. Since he's come to the Knicks, let's get to this. Just to show you, right here. Oh, that's not even the one. What happened? Hold on. Here he is. Sorry about that. They put this in the graphic during the game. 1.6 steals, second highest of his career. 1.1 blocks, career high. 101 deflections, third in the NBA. In December alone, not including tonight's game, his opponents are shooting 37.7% on him as the primary defender. That is the lowest in the NBA. Minimum 150 defended field goals. So he is currently the best defender in the NBA in terms of field goal percentage suppression, which is really what matters. That is really ultimately what matters in defense. And then he gives you 31 points on the other side. Not only just 31 points, the man scored on 11 straight field goal attempts. He was 11 for 11 at one point. He finished 13 of 15 tonight, 86.7%. 4 of 6 from the three-point line. That means he did not miss a bucket inside the arc. 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, but multitude of deflections that don't get shown in the box score. 31 points. He finished a plus 25 tonight in plus minus. All right. So who else we got? Who else are we going to compare him to? Donovan Mitchell and Mikal Bridges. Now that one, no doubt, Cleveland's got the better of it. No doubt Cleveland has the better of it. But then you start thinking, wait a second. Okay. So, all right, that's interesting. But in the last 10 games, for players who have played at least, let's just make it fair, at least 8 of those 10 games. All right, here we go. Mikal Bridges is number 1 in plus minus, a 15.0. Number 1 in plus minus. Karl-Anthony Towns is number 3, by the way, 13.8. And Brunson, 3. OG's 4th. And Brunson's 10th. 4 Knicks in the top 10 in plus minus. But Mikal Bridges is number 1. So, yes. Look, do I even see, where is Donovan Mitchell? Oh, he's not even on here. So Donovan Mitchell is not even up here in the plus minus. But to be fair, I will say I would give the nod to Cleveland in that comparison. Okay? And then we have the center position. Evan Mobley, right here. Evan Mobley, a plus 12.6, and Karl-Anthony Towns, a plus 13.8 in the last 10 games. Okay? So, interesting. Okay. Well, Karl-Anthony Towns shooting 52.8%. Mobley is shooting 59.3%. From the three-point line, Towns is shooting 43%. Mobley is shooting 53%. But look at the three-point attempts, 3.1. Mobley's having a great season. But when it comes to the free throw line, he's connecting on 2 out of 3. Where Karl-Anthony Towns is almost an 83% free throw shooter. Then, okay, how about rebounds? Rebounds, especially defensive rebounds, which actually end a possession and create a new possession for your team. Karl-Anthony Towns is averaging in the last 10 games 16.2 rebounds per game. Mobley about half that, 8.6. Look at this. Now also, assists, 3.2 for Mobley, 4.1 for Towns. Steals, 1 to 1.1, very similar. 1.3 blocks to 1.3 blocks. So at the end of the day, Towns gets the nod over Mobley, and Towns will be the all-star. You guys should vote for him. So right now, when you compare the teams, the Knicks have 4 better starters than the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm just breaking it down. I'm breaking it down. Now let's look at the Celtics. Let's look at the Celtics now. I'll come back to that chart. Celtics. So I already compared Drew and Brunson. It's not really a comparison. Yes, Drew gives you some greatness on the defensive end and that, absolutely, which is crucial, and he hits timely buckets, but Brunson takes over games. Brunson forces teams to change their scheme. Brunson forces them to alter what they need to do to be successful. In my opinion, at this moment, Brunson gets the nod. All right, so Derek White and Josh Hart. Derek White, definitely, he gets the nod, even though Josh Hart has been incredibly efficient. He's been fantastic, but I would give the nod to Derek White. The man is just a tremendous three-point shooter. Josh Hart is amazing at beating the shot clock, but okay, I'll give the nod. So that's 1-1. Jaylen Brown and Mikal Bridges. That's interesting. That's an interesting one. Jaylen Brown definitely is better than Mikal Bridges, but when you really look at it, really, is he? Is he really? I mean, let's look at the plus minus. Right here. 15.0. Ooh. For Mikal Bridges. I don't even see. Oh, here's Jaylen Brown down here. 8.1. So Mikal Bridges is almost twice doubled up in plus minus. So when Mikal's on the court, his team scores twice the amount of points. No, the margin of the lead is double what it is for the Celtics when Jaylen Brown is on the court. All right. Maybe by the end of this year, could it be a wash? I don't know. I would give the nod slightly in Boston's favor there. But now let's talk about OG Anunoby and Jason Tatum. That one's a tricky one. Because what OG gives you, his ability to just shut down an opponent, it's a cheat code. It's a cheat code. And then at the same time, he turns around and gives you 31 points. But Tatum is phenomenal. He's an MVP candidate. He's a champion already. So in that one, marginally, I'd give the nod to the Celtics. Marginally. Comparing Cat to Kristaps right now, there is no comparison. Cat by far rules there. So we're talking about the Knicks are way ahead of them at the point guard and the center spot compared to the Celtics. The other three spots, the Celtics just marginally are better than the Knicks. Marginally. But that's right now. We'll see how things develop when the chemistry that this team is developing continues. And it turns into this beautiful souffle, which is what we're seeing right now. I'm hyped. All right, let's go back here. Thank you, guys. Again, if this is your first time here, please subscribe. My name is George. Hit the thumbs up button for me and drop your comments. Would appreciate all of that. OG Anunoby, 31 points tonight, 7 rebounds and 4 assists. And he connected on 11 of his first field goal attempts. Karl Anthony Towns, 31 points for him, 10 rebounds, a double-double, 7 dimes. Only Giannis and Jokic, both champions, have more 30-10 games this season. Only they have more than Karl Anthony Towns. All right, let's get to the highlights. So early, Toronto had the lead, and then then Deuce came into the game. Deuce and Campaign, bearing the lead. Campaign was outstanding today for the New York Knicks. What he was able to do, especially in that, towards the end of the first quarter, actually he came in the second quarter, right? Because Cam is not on the court right now. Yeah, no, he is on the court right now. The New York Knicks, it was a back and forth. There was a lot of lead changes. There was 11 lead changes in those first 14, 15 minutes of play. Once the Knicks took control of the game, they ran away with it, and a big reason why they were able to do it was because of Campaign. In that first quarter, Campaign came in. It was the second quarter, really. He hit his first bucket, but the second quarter, Campaign had 11 points in 6 minutes of play. He hit 4 of 7 from the field, 2 of 5 from the three-point line, and he was a plus 10. Same with Deuce McBride was a plus 10, even though he had no points in that second quarter. He was a plus 10. They spent most of that time with Josh Hart and OG Anunoby on the court, and OG hit all 4 of his buckets. The New York Knicks went on they blew them out 40-24 in that second quarter, and then they scored 41 in the third quarter. So they had 2 quarters back-to-back scoring 40 points or more. That's just sickness. There you go. There's Campaign right there. I love what he brings. I think when we signed him, I was ecstatic because he also kills us. He kills us constantly. So now he's on our team. He's in orange and blue, and he's playing. Look at this right here. Boom. Look at that. See? That shit. That didn't happen. The only one who could do that last season was Dante. But we didn't have a 7-footer out there pulling the center out. Well, actually, I think that was Grady Dick who was covering him there. We didn't have that flexibility. Now we got the floor so well spread. It's allowing players to be their best version of themselves. And they're still driving, getting into the paint, passing it out, or finishing through traffic. Scotty Barnes, I love the way he plays. I love that guy. I mean, he's fabulous. Toronto have a really great. Look at it, Precious. Precious hits a three from the corner. Precious tonight. Let's see. I can't remember what he ended up with. He ended up with 5 points. He was 2 of 7 overall. That's not that exciting, but he did pick up 7 rebounds and 2 assists. He's still working through. He got a steal and a block as well. He's still getting back into game shape. I expect like sometime in January he's really going to start clicking. It's really going to start gelling for him. He's going to get back into the shape that we need him to be in. Let's see who we are here. The third quarter, the New York Knicks are up by 15. Here comes Jalen Brunson, who did not score. Okay, Jalen Brunson did not score in the first half. He didn't make a field goal the first half. He only made free throws. He was 3 and he was 3 of 6. He shot 50%. I mean, honestly, we last year or 2 years ago, we'd be dead right now. But then finally in that third quarter, he did connect. He went 3 for 5 in that third quarter. Gave us 7 buckets, but he did miss another free throw. Wow. What did he end up from the free throw line tonight? Let me check this here. He ended up shooting 4 of 8, 50% from the free throw line. Something's up with him from the free throw line right now. It's just lack of focus. Look at it, he got pushed down right there. He's just, I think his body's just getting beaten up. Even though he was able to give us that tremendous game against the previous game. What was that against? Or the Pelicans. I think, you know, if it weren't for him, we would have lost that game, which would have been tragic. You know, everything's so delicate right now. You know, like at any moment, like one team could have 2 or 3 guys that just start hitting threes, and then the score just swings in one direction, and then the other team is like struggling to get back in it. It's a really interesting time for the NBA right now, and coaches are just going to have to get smarter how to figure out how to interrupt those flows, those moments of flow that teams develop. And they'll be doing it to us because we are probably one of the most flow teams I've seen. I mean, there are moments where we're like, okay, back and forth, 11, lead changes. You know, it's only like 2 points separating teams, maybe 3, 4, or 5, whatever, but we're still, everyone's close. And then suddenly, a fire gets lit, and a 2-point lead becomes a 22-point lead for the Knicks. We just have that kind of offense. And we have guys off the bench who come in like Deuce McBride and Campaign who can just, you know, they have no fear in their hearts. They're little with big hearts, and they just can make buckets. I love it. I love the intensity that they play with. Look at the score right now. Look at that, 120-96. Now, we fell asleep in that fourth quarter. Toronto, they have professionals. They have pride. They're not going to let themselves get their asses pummeled and embarrassed. And they came out and they played hard. And in these last 7 minutes, they were able to cut the lead down. And the Knicks only won by 14. But the win is the key. That is the most important thing. Let's go to this here. All right. So let me show you guys something here. All right. So this right here, this is the plus. This is the ratings: offensive rating, defensive rating, net rating for the entire season. Okay. In defensive rating for the season, the whole season, the New York Knicks are now 14th. They have 112.5. They're allowing 112.5 points per 100 possessions. But they are scoring 120.2 points per 100 possessions, which is second best in the NBA. Just less than a point behind the Cavaliers. Less than a point. And that is more than a point ahead of the Celtics, who are number 3, which is why I was talking about those teams earlier. Now, the net rating is the most important thing. The net rating, the New York Knicks are 5th in the NBA with a 7.7 differential, basically, net rating, which is the difference between the offensive rating and the defensive rating. 7.7 behind Memphis Grizzlies, who are playing great, but only have one more win than the Knicks. The Celtics, the Cavaliers, and OKC, who are in the NBA Cup Finals, who lost to the Milwaukee Bucks. And where are the Bucks? Down here, 15th. All right, but that's the whole season. Now you're wondering, but teams are playing better lately. Okay, let's look over here. This is the last 11 games, right here. The last 11 games, okay? Net rating, the New York Knicks are now 3rd, 11.4. A team with a double-digit net rating can beat the fuck out of anybody in the NBA. And there's 4 of them right now. There's Memphis, Cleveland, OKC, and the Knicks. Okay? But defensive rating, let's look at it. The New York Knicks now have the 3rd best defensive rating in the NBA. So all this talk about concern about the defense, let me put an asterisk there. Put a little asterisk. The last 11 games, it's been the Pelicans. It's been some other subpar teams. Okay, the Pelicans, the Raptors, Orlando. Offensively, they're challenged. So the Knicks have benefit, but those are teams that other teams have to play as well. So all that gets factored in. And then offensive rating, the New York Knicks are 4th right now. Just a half point behind the Suns in the last 11 games. But they are 9-2 in the last 11 games. Only one team has won more games, and that is OKC. And their one loss, their one loss, the loss to Milwaukee doesn't count here. Because the finals in the NBA Cup do not count in regular season stats. So what's happened? So this, to me, this is trending in the direction of dominance. The Knicks got their offense cooking. They got their defense cooking. And at the end of the day, they are sizzling hot right now. All right. Let's get back to this. We're going to wrap this up soon. It's already over a half hour. Like I said, 7 Knicks with double figures. Campaign just 1 point shy of having 20 points tonight. Deuce McBride finished with 12 himself. Brunson, not a good offensive game for him. Missed all 5 of his 3-point attempts. But he did pick up 7 dimes. He fouled out of the game. Same with Karl-Anthony Towns, apparently. I didn't realize that. Here is the plus minus. OG Anunoby, a plus 25. Towns, a plus 17. Josh Hart, a plus 16. I barely even talked about Josh Hart in this game. He was fabulous. He was all over the place. Payne, a plus 7. Deuce, a plus 7. Toronto, Scotty Barnes, 24 points and 20 shot attempts. RJ, 23 points, just 1 point less in 7 less shot attempts than Scotty Barnes. RJ is becoming one of the most efficient, high-scoring, high-volume players in the NBA. How do you like them fucking apples? We wanted that here. We wanted that here so badly. Well, I'm happy for him. It's finally happening there. You know, hey, tip my cap to him. Once a Nick, always a Nick. It happens. They shot almost 40% from the three-point line, but it wasn't enough. They shot 54.5% from the field. But it didn't matter because the New York Knicks said, oh, you're going to shoot 54.5%? Well, we're going to shoot almost 60%, 59.3%. You shot almost 40% from the three-point line? Well, guess what? We're going to shoot 46% with 9 more shot attempts. So we're going to connect on 6 more three-pointers. And that's the game. That's the game right there. Ah, that was beautiful. All right, thank you so much for watching this. My name is George. Please subscribe, hit the thumbs up button for me, drop your comments, share the video, and I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday, whatever holiday you celebrate, or if you just have spent some time with family and friends, I hope you enjoy all of that. We have a Christmas morning. Well, for me, it's Christmas morning, 9 a.m. breakfast. I'm going to watch these Knicks They're going to play San Antonio Spurs. When Wembanyama comes to the Garden, should be a spectacle for the eyes. I can't wait to see this game. Can't wait to see all the games on Christmas Day. It's a great day for the NBA, and I hope the New York Knicks take care of business and they win their 20th game of the season on Christmas as a present to all of us. All right, thank you so much for watching this, and I will see you on Christmas. That's right. Around the Knicks-Verse.